Aysun Öz'e Başka Şeyler'den merhabalar. Contemporary İstanbul'un 20. edisyonunun teması biliyorsunuz Amerika Birleşik Devletleri'ydi ve bu yıl pek çok Amerikalı sanatçıyı da ağırladı. Aysun Öz YouTube kanalında da birçoğunu konuk ettik. Onlardan biri Peru asıllı Amerikalı sanatçı Grimanesa Amoros. Kamusal alanlara yerleştirilmiş kocaman ışık heykelleriyle dünyada önemli bir yer edinen Amaros, The Peninsula İstanbul için 2 yeni ışık enstalasyonu tasarladı. Pasaj ve Maritime. İstanbul'a bayılan Amoros ile İstanbul'dan ilham aldığı işlerini beste yapar gibi tasarladığı eserleriyle sanata bakışını konuştuk.
Welcome to Istanbul for Contemporary Istanbul. You designed Passage and Maritime for Istanbul. What was your starting point and how did you connect it with the city, its people and its architecture?
One, I will say, I have been always very curious about what you just mentioned, the connectivity, for the citizens of a city, especially such as Istanbul. So I always feel that when I make a lighting sculpture, I just don't want the person to go and see the piece. It has to be connected with the architecture building, the piece, and the viewer, right? In this sense, I knew that when I was called to do this piece, that Peninsula had this clock tower, and for me, having Istanbul such a historical cultural heritage that is just so important, especially such a building as a clock tower, I said to myself, Grimanesa, this is the place that I want to do a piece. And so that's what started Maritime. And then for Passage, and then for Maritime, in the lobby, I wanted to also connect this same building. One is downstairs and the other one is up. And how could you do this? Which I thought that I could do that with a wave of time, right? The interrelation of these both.
Grimanesa'nın pasajlarından bahsedince benim aklıma ünlü siyaset bilimci Hannah Arendt geldi. Çünkü Arendt hem içeride hem de dışarıda olma imkanı sağlayan pasajların sadece mekan değil bir zaman geçidi de olduğunu söylüyor. Acaba Grimanesa'nın işlerinde de zamanda yolculuğa çıkmak mümkün mü? Ne dersin Grimanesa?
100%. That's why I started with the concept of a wave of time, because the clock tower is such a special architectural iconic building. So for me was, what is the relationship with the boats that they're going to embark or disembark, from that location? And I think that is encapsulated in the building, because I start imagining how many individuals have gone through saying their hellos or they're saying their bye-byes when they go and embark or disembark, right? The emotional charge of the building as it is also physically for how the clock tower look upon all of us. So I think that she's right. I think it's a passage where that encapsulates time not only in the past, but I think now also as well.
Do you think Istanbul itself can be seen as a passage?
Well, I think that to me, yes, it is a passage still from the east and the west. And that's something that it had fascinated me since 1985, the first time that I came to Istanbul, which you actually could just sit and absorb in a higher point, the energy that has the east and the west. And so I think that, yes, it encapsulated still Istanbul as a passage, but where many choose to stay. And I think to me, for example, it's a pleasure to be here because it's one of my favorite cities. Istanbul always regenerates, it's always activated, it's always, you get charged energetical.
Karaköy is one of the city's most historic and vibrant areas, so I imagine it would be easy to establish a connection there. What is your observation?
Well, one of the characteristics that I observed upon my arrival was that when you go to inside the lobby, for example, of the Peninsula, right, and then you encounter certain the work of Maritime, which it makes you think about other constraints, because you see the round circumferences, and you see time, and you see the history all encapsulated by this wave of time and wave goes, and it's very the fluidity of the water on Maritime. That's what I felt when I go out and walk on the streets. It's basically the fluidity of Karakoy streets, and something that I don't use even my iPhone. I just said, oh, I'm gonna get lost, and it's just an incredible experience that I really suggest for all, including probably yourself, to get lost on it and be part. And I think that's Karakoy. Karakoy allows you to be a part of Istanbul immediately and feel the city. Well, that's another interesting question, because it goes, I could parallel with my philosophy of life. And I think that I usually don't expect anything. And I like the surprise part of it. And which is always I always used to say, even to my mother, I am so lucky. And I can tell you that it surpasses the expectations. I think Contemporary Istanbul is doing a fantastic job celebrating their 20th anniversary. And I am so glad to be a part of it. And I think also in the peninsula with, it's also our 10th anniversary of collaboration. And so I think that this is a work of a lot of teams, not only myself, and I call it, it's a dream team to collaborate with the people also from Istanbul, because as same as I work with the Peninsula team, I also like to work with the Turkish team. And that has been fabulous. I don't know how even to explain it in words. So, just by sign, to go up and down a little bit. So that's also my encounter with Karakoy, to work with the Turkish community. The community that also sent me, for example, pictures, and they said, oh, I was, on the boat across, and I was saying, my daughter, oh, your father was involved doing this. And that to me is just what I continue to make art. I think it's very important to me to make people think, right? Either they like it or they don't, but at least the artwork that I'm doing, you gotta stop and makes you think about perhaps getting inspired and to make changes in your life. Yes, I think that, we have to let them know. And I really am very thankful to you to support me in making this, to share this with a wider audience, obviously, because it was done for the people. It's like I said, I always said, yesterday I said a couple of words, and it's like, this amazing artwork is done by the little hands of so many, that actually they love it. They enjoy being a part of it. And that's what I keep on doing artwork. You can imagine the times of sometimes it's so challenging to build these things. But then when you hear those comments, right, it really makes you realize this is what I continue to do with the work. So it's an affirmation every single time that I'm in the right path. I would like to add one line that I always like to share, which is LPP. And it's quite important also for the viewers, that they could see that they are a younger generation of artists, right? Because they helped me across my career, and it means love, passion, and perseverance. LPP. So it's very, I always have had that in mind.
Thank you. Thanks so much. See you next year.
Yes.
In Contemporary Istanbul and other art exhibition.
I'm sure that I'm going to come back. I want to tell you that I have traveled through all your country. I have gone to Ephesus, Izmir, Bodrum.
Bodrum, of
but
course.
Bodrum in 1985, where it was not even only one hotel. So, and then also Cappadocia.
Yeah, yes, of course, Cappadocia.
Cappadocia. Yeah. Well, I am sure that I'm going to come back, because Cappadocia made a very, very, very big impression. And when geographic locations and history aligns, and it makes this last impression on myself, I know that I'm going to come back and do another work inspired, on that.
Cappadocia, Bodrum,
Oh my God.
Izmir, Efes,
But
very fantastic.
Cappadocia is just
yes.
incredible. I mean, I had the opportunity to go to one of the sites that probably you have been, in which you start with the height of a ceiling, and then you just keep on going down, down, down, down, down. and it's just fascinating, the architecture of how they actually made that happen.
Thanks so much.